Luncheon meat. It's comfort food that most of us have grown up eating. But do you know what goes into a can of luncheon meat? Here at Golden Bridge Foods, a luncheon meat factory in Singapore, pork shoulder, leg cuts, and fat are ground into a fine mince which goes into a mixer. Herbs, spices, salt, sugar, and preservatives are added. It's then cooked under high pressure for over 2.5 hours at high heat. But why are preservatives like sodium nitrite needed?
Without the sodium nitrite, it doesn't really have the same color that consumer acceptance usually are familiar with.
So is there a high sodium content?
So the sodium content is clearly indicated, and as you can see from the label, we have recommended 4 servings per wine can. So on the label itself, it also has a recommended picture to show you that this is 1 serving. And if you really follow the guideline, you are only consuming 20% of your recommended daily allowance.
But luncheon meat, you probably shouldn't eat more than 1 can every couple of months. Just imagine that this is our gut and we have the good bacteria. When we take food like that are processed, that have lots of additives in it, the bad bacteria then get stronger or they flourish, and then you get this imbalance and result in you having more digestive issues like diarrhea, bloatedness, and it can even affect other things in your health like your appetite, your sleep, and even your mental health. And then of course it can increase your risk of chronic illnesses and cancer. There's also the ultra-processed sort of canned foods where they add in lots of chemicals and additives in there. Looking at the ingredient list, and if you see anything that has a funny name or a long chemical sounding name, then if you can avoid it, avoid it.
So if you're looking to avoid luncheon meat, there are meatless alternatives on the market that claim to be healthier, such as vegetarian luncheon meat and this new plant-based option that's made up mostly of soy, wheat, beet, and coconut oil. And according to its label, there's no added MSG, nitrates, cholesterol, or preservatives. But what I want to know is whether this can taste like this. So let's find out. According to the label, it's got less fat, less sodium, and more protein than its meat-based counterparts. So it sounds like it's healthier than traditional luncheon meat. But does it taste the same? It's very different from that. You still get that familiar saltiness, but there's a lot more textures inside. It's kind of like minced meat, a little bit chunky, and it smells kind of like mushrooms. Actually, it's a bit chewy like mushrooms as well. You are getting a lot of that luncheon meat flavor from it. Definitely the saltiness. Not so much the gaminess, right? It tastes like a very decent meat patty. But ultimately, because this is a lot healthier than this, I feel a lot better eating the plant-based luncheon meat any day. But just remember, just because it's good for you doesn't mean you should go all out and crazy. So remember, everything in moderation.